your 5 minutes.
Okay. I'm the Reverend Rick Ward, and I am standing before you today as the sovereign bishop-elect and the current canon to the Diocese bishop representing the Diocese of the Delta of the Progressive Episcopal Church. My faith demands today that I support equality. I know you've heard from many seemingly well-meaning Christians within this community. I remind the board and the Christians thereon that this is not a religious moral issue, but it is a secular moral issue. Bullying, blatant discrimination, and bigotry based on religious beliefs is wrong and does not reflect the Spirit of Christ. He stood against the theocratic government of the day and embraced those who were the oppressed and the marginalized. Members of my parish in Hot Springs drive from Texarkana to church every week, and they do so because they are not welcomed or affirmed in churches in this city. This is a travesty that Christ himself would condemn. The opposition to this bill is not about restrooms or about a fear of sexual predators. It is about a lack of understanding of humanity and a lack of the very compassion that Christ himself taught. This opposition is rooted in hate and fear-based arguments, fears of sexual assault that have been disproven by statistics in over a dozen states already. Fear of a loss of religious freedoms which are clearly protected by the Constitution. They failed to inform voters that this measure only grants protections related to city government. It has already been found, and they don't want you to know this, but it has already been found by the courts to be in compliance with state law. Washington County Circuit Judge Doug Martin ruled on March 1st of this year, and I quote, "Clearly, the classifications of gender identity and sexual orientation were classifications protected on basis contained in state law prior to the enactment of Fayetteville's ordinance. Religious morality was used to support slavery, prohibition, to oppose women's suffrage, to inflict Jewish persecution, to oppose interracial marriage, and ultimately civil rights. If one's going to use Scripture as a defense to oppose homosexuality, then I certainly hope that they follow the biblical directives that states if you're going to follow one part of the law, you have to follow all of the law. This means that they can't eat at Red Lobster anymore. They can't wear mixed materials. Unfortunately, all of the women are going to be male-dominated and are going to have to be silent and are going to be subjected to those around them. They also have the approval to sell their children. Do you see the irony here? We ignore those things that are considered archaic. However, something we don't understand, we demonize and consider to be worthy of subjecting people to hate and discrimination. It is sad that a clergy member has to drive from 2 hours away to speak on my brother and sister's behalf because of the fear and the intimidation that they experience. They have to hide their very self. They live in fear that their parents are going to be treated differently because someone might know that they are lesbian or gay. Think about the very harm that you are doing when you oppose this measure. Think about the message of love and acceptance or the message of hate and intolerance that you are offering to a young person who may very well be contemplating suicide right this moment due to the horrific lies and fear-mongering that the opposition continues to pander through the media and from the pulpit. The city of Texarkana needs to join Little Rock, Fayetteville, Hot Springs, and Eureka Springs as being a leader on the right side of history. It is time to coexist and welcome everyone to the table for business purposes. A vote of non-support is a clear statement on your part that you believe that it is acceptable to discriminate and that you embrace bigotry. There is no explanation for a non-supporting vote. This chamber, on Martin Luther King Day, January 18th, took a historic step when you made the motion, the ordinance, and passed it. You allowed and showed a warm and receptive Texarkana, one that says that all lives matter. Tonight, do not be badgered into backsliding as the opposition would have you to be. The Episcopal Church, the Methodist Church, the Christian Church, United Church of Christ, the Evangelical Lutheran Church, and so many more have affirmed the rights, worth, and dignity of gay and lesbian persons. Don't let the far ultra-right wing use their manipulative tactics and fear to sway you. I speak out against those who use lies, defamation, fear, intimidation, mistruths, and the many, many deceptive tactics to promote hate and evil among innocent citizens. Christ said, "Judge not, lest you be judged, for as you judge, so shall you be judged." He also said, "Let him without sin cast the first stone." The opposition here tonight are Pharisees and Sadducees of today, professing superiority, high knowledge, and biblical law. Remember, Jesus rebuked them, and all they are welcome.
I'm sorry. Reverend. Thank you. All right. Now, ladies and gentlemen, it is my responsibility to keep order.